What is going on, guys? Bruin Steel here, and welcome back to another WWE broadcast. I'm your host, Bruin Steel, and I'm joined by Canadian Yorker, and we are recapping the Monday Night Raw that took place on May 26th, 2025 in Tampa, Florida. And just want to let you guys know that it is good to be back. I got back from vacation. Well, out of town, I went to Maine, and it's good to be back. But this coming next couple of weeks, I won't be available because I will be out of town once again for the second week in a row. So Canadian Yorker right here will be in charge of the next couple of broadcasts. So I won't be here for the next couple of broadcasts because I will be out of town for Argentina. So I'm going to Buenos Aires, Argentina, the next 2 weeks. So it's gonna be fun. But anyways, Canadian Yorker, how's it going tonight?
I went pretty well tonight. I can't complain. It's been pretty, so far the week has rolled well, not bad, but been busy. But management, been management, take care of things. But I gotta say, Bruin, still, you are one international traveler.
All right, so let's get started with this Monday Night Raw. To start off the show, we got the new faction of Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and surprisingly Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman making their entrance. Heyman begins putting Braun Breaker over as the man of the future, the guy who's gonna main event the next dozen WrestleManias, and Bronson Reed as a man who WWE management and top tier talent here were afraid of because he's too reckless, a violent man in the PG era who's going to put everyone down in front of him. So Reed took the initiative and he targeted a franchise player in the future of the industry, Seth Rollins. In one night, he put a worse beating on Seth than Roman Reigns or CM Punk ever could. And so Paul continues to put him over as the be all, end of all of WWE today and demands the crowd acknowledge him. Seth lets a long beat lay before saying this is his vision, the way forward, how they secure the future of the industry. Total control, total domination, complete power. The crowd chants "You sold out" at him, but he says that he hasn't changed one whit, and he told us all what he was going to do, and he did it. Fuck you, Rollins chants go up in response to this, and Seth Rollins explodes on them for changing gears so fast from singing his song to slinging profanity and questioning his integrity. He said he's the only person who can handle the power here, and power here is championships. And if it wasn't for Sami Zayn and CM Punk, you would be standing here right now as your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and he discovered the object that let him control the fate of the champion. And he looks up, and the camera pans to show the Money in the Bank briefcase is hanging up. And he said he's going to the Money in the Bank. He's going to win it, and he's going to cash in whenever he wants, and however he wants, and on whoever he wants, and no one can stop him. This is a complete domination, total power, and this is why he's a revolutionary, a visionary, and so on and so forth. So yeah, Bronson Reed joined the faction. It was a little confusing, but now I understand a little bit why. But anyways, what are your thoughts on this opening segment with the Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, and Paul Heyman?
So it's kind of interesting that Bronson Reed would join the very man who he destroyed a few months prior, and interesting that feud between Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins was there. All of a sudden, the bad blood between both of them is gone. Um, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, I think, probably had some history going back to NXT. Seth Rollins never really had any history there, but it's really interesting that the fact that Braun Breaker, definitely could challenge Seth Rollins for, or Braun Breaker can be the guy that should be going after the Intercontinental title. Braun Breaker should be going and beating Jey Uso for not the Intercontinental, for the World Heavyweight Championship. Sami Zayn has history. It's kind of interesting. I see the fact that Sami Zayn has history is with Bronson Reed and with 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 Braun Breaker, but with Seth Rollins, he hasn't really had any history. Um, you know, it's I'm trying to gouge this this faction with Seth, Bron, and Bronson. It's just I'm trying to see it more. I think that um, they obviously need to have more. They need to have some more character with this group because they need to have a name. They need to have some sort of character. Um, they don't really have that here. You know, I think that they need to have something going for them, obviously. And Paul Heyman is the guy that's just a spokesperson for the group because he's the manager of the group. Uh, but I like the fact that Bronson Reed, it's kind of interesting. I think and Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker could go after some individual titles. Seth Rollins can obviously do what he wants to do and go after the uh, World Heavyweight Championship if he wants to. But the thing is, he's held it before, so I would rather see Bronson Reed or Braun Breaker. Those two deserve to get a title shot, obviously. The more than Seth Rollins does. I can definitely see that happening. I would love to see that development with this group more because these guys need more. They need something to keep them interesting. That's what I think.
All right. So, moving on to the first match of Monday Night Raw, we got a Money in the Bank qualifying match. We got Chad Gable versus Dragon Lee versus Penta. So, wow, what a triple threat that this was. Chad Gable, Dragon Lee, and Penta. The Luchadors team up to send Gable to the floor. Penta back body drops Lee to the apron, kicks cuts him off. Slingshot puts Penta into the corner, dropkick out and back in with a kick, and Chad returns. Dropkick from Dragon on Gable. Hesitation, dropkick on Penta. Gable catches him with a Northern Lights suplex. Springboard caught Chad. German suplexes Penta and poses for the crowd. Slingshot countered. Bridging Northern Lights suplex almost puts Lee away. Drawing Penta up. Body blows for chops off the ropes. The front kick, heel kick. Lee runs in and eats a cheeky NATO in the corner. Net breaker to Gable. Pile driver and Glory special combination on both guys. Penta off the ropes. Topkan Gyros. Cable punching away at Penta on the announce table. Dragon Lee torpedoes Penta over the ropes. Chad gets distracted punching Hilo Del Valco back inside with Penta and they trade chops. Dragon and trading kicks with Penta. Poisons Frankensteiner floats over Gable. Linger Bond. So close Penta pump handles on Lee. Gable comes in and German suplex the both of them. Heading up top, diving moonsong on Penta. Still no. Huge belly to belly suplex on Dragon. Vecino gets up on the apron and clobbers him with the Inzarella. Dragon Lee takes advantage. Tree avoids double stomp. Penta hips a flip pile driver ham and grabs Chad. Penta driver on Chad Gable. Penta defeats Dragon Lee and Chad Gable by pitfall to qualify for the Money in the Bank. So, wow, what a match. Penta is going to participate in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and Penta has qualified, defeating Dragon Lee and Chad Gable by pitfall. So, Penta's going to Money in the Bank. So, what are your thoughts on that match?
I think Penta definitely he came in hot. He's one of the he's definitely established himself as one of the better stars in WWE. I think it's a good match. It's a good win for Penta. It's good for him. He gets to go on to the Royal Rumble and to Money in the Bank. But this is going to be the first time that he's competing in a Money in the Bank match. Obviously, I think Chad Gable should definitely is more deserving of a shot to Money in the Bank. Chance to get in Money in the Bank, but obviously he wasn't able to get the job done against Dragon Lee and Penta. So Chad Gable, the guy who's supposed to be World Heavyweight Champion right now, and not Jey Uso. Um, you know, I just think, I think I wish we could see a build up in the storyline Once we get this business done with Logan Paul challenging Jey Uso for a championship, you know, Chad Gable should be challenging. It would be really interesting to see Chad Gable get his money in the bank. He could cash it in on top of Jey Uso, but it's just it's not gonna happen yet. So I think Penta, it's good for Penta to get a title shot because he almost won against Dominik, but he lost because that's when they likes to interfere. So if Penta wins Money in the Bank, then Penta could cash in on Dominik, but that's not gonna happen right now because it has to go through other guys who are going to be challenging him for the Money in the Bank contract.
All right, so moving on. I just want to mention that Roxanne Perez has been hanging out with the Judgment Day, and this week Liv Morgan has returned. Roxanne rolls up with a tray of nuggies and a shoulder rug right as Liv Morgan returns. Roxanne tries to introduce himself, but Liv shushes her and asks Mysterio what's going on before saying it's fine. Raquel been keeping her informed. Liv Morgan's gonna get a Money in the Bank qualifier next week, so yeah, Dom, you're fucked. So, um, yeah. So
That Dom Roxanne to Judgment Day. It's actually uh, it's actually Finn Balor who introduced Roxanne to Judgment Day, so it's not Dom's fault.
yeah. So yeah, and I'm interested to see the angle. There's rumors that Dom and Liv are just gonna be. I think they're gonna change up the storyline a little bit. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I think Dom is gonna stay with Liv, and I think Dom and Liv are gonna be the faces. So I think they're gonna probably get killed. But we have to wait to see. This Judgment storyline is great and all, but man, is Dom is just gonna go to every single women's wrestler? Like holy shit! I mean, if Dom went after Tiffany, I'll be like, oh, it should have been me. um, but moving on, we got Akira Tozawa versus Rusev. This wasn't even a match. Like, why was this match? Oh my god. Tozawa tries his best for a hot start, but Rusev just runs right over him and it's over. Rusev defeats Akira Tozawa by submission. Post match, Rusev falls back in the sleeper hold as the referee tries to break it up, but Sheamus makes the save. He and the Sheamus and Rusev has a stare down, a crooked smile on Rusev's face, and in the end, Rusev makes the first move, turning and leaving without taking his eyes off the Celtic Warrior. So, yeah, Tozawa had no chance, and this is a rumored match or feud that people want. Sheamus and Rusev.
Haven't Sheamus and Rusev had a feud in the past? Haven't they brought each other in before?
I think they were part of a faction together. I think I'm not even. I don't remember.
Well, I gotta say, man, what is going on with Tozawa, man? I mean, you have the Japanese women wrestlers. They're doing their thing. Kairi Sane, she's fighting in championship matches. Io Sky is WWE champion. Takamura, not Takamura. Yeah, Takamura, not Takamura. I'm forgetting his name.
Tozawa.
No, not Tozawa.
Rusev.
So there's a Shinzo
Shinsuke Nakamura.
That's Shinsuke Nakamura. That's his name. That's right. Shinsuke Nakamura was the United States champion, but what in the world has Tozawa done? I mean, it's kind of sad to see. This guy. He could be competing in a championship match. He should be competing. He should not be in squash matches, man. Why isn't Tozawa actually feuding with he got taken out by he got taken out in the Royal Rumble match. He was supposed to be in the Royal Rumble, but he got taken out and he never feuded with the guy who took him out of the Royal Rumble. I mean, what is going on? I mean, I think Tozawa should be challenging, should be going and winning some matches to become a champion. Just like it's just kind of sad to see that he's just being put in these squash matches. I gotta say, it's good to see Rusev back. Rusev's doing his thing, and hopefully we'll get to see Rusev feud with Sheamus. This is gonna be really interesting, an interesting storyline. So we'll see what happens.
All right, so moving on to the next match, we got a triple threat tag team match for the World Tag Team Championship. We got the New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods defending their titles against the Creed brothers, Brutus and Julius Creed, and the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar. So, triple threat match for the World Tag Team Championship. Brawling before the bell, the War Raiders in control, clearing the ring, and then Eric slams Ivar off the apron and into the crush on the floor, throwing Kingston back inside, and we get a bell. Uh, Eric on the floor, the Creeds and New Day working together to throw him into the barricade, and everyone gets the turn. They all go stand tall in the ring together. Ivar tags in, the War Raiders making up for getting overwhelmed. Big crossbody from Warbeard. Handspring, back elbow, reverse roundhouse on Woods. He wakes Eric up, waistlock. Julius tags in, and Kofi and Brutus sends Eric to the floor. Brutus ball off the top. Kofi dives on Warbeard, but gets caught and rammed into an LED light. New Day seems fast. Roll up pin by Xavier Woods on a Creed, retaining the WWE World Tag Team Champions. So the New Day defeats the Creed brothers and the War Raiders by pinfall to retain their World Tag Team Championship. So wow, they actually retained. It was a roll up, but I mean it does work. What are your thoughts on the New Day retaining?
I think it's great. The New Day retains their championship, although the War Raiders have had a couple of opportunities to challenge the New Day for a championship. I just think it would make sense for the New Day to challenge the War Raiders one-on-one to see who's going to be the champion instead of being put in triple threat matches. Day versus the Creed brothers. The Creed brothers need to face the New Day one-on-one. Let's see who the better tag team is. I'm getting kind of tired with seeing triple threat matches for every single tag team championship match. We really need to have a triple threat match for every single tag team championship match. Obviously, there doesn't need to be one. We only need to have one team versus the other team. Obviously, I think it's good to see the New Day is defending their titles. They're the champions now. Maybe they can add an extra member to replace Big E as for their team. Maybe they need to have one. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't right now. I would just like to see the War Raiders versus the New Day. The War Raiders definitely deserve a chance to win the championship back because they were doing the thing as tag team champions. So we'll have to see what's going to happen going forward.
All right, so moving on, we got a main event Jey Uso segment. Jey Uso making his entrance. He says it's been a busy week for the champ, and Logan Paul got yeeted on, and John Cena is about to get yeeted on because at Money in the Bank he gets interrupted by Gunther. Gunther gets on the mic and says he came out here he gets on the mic and says he came out here first of all to congratulate Jey Uso, and this one comes from a very personal place. First, he congratulates him on 15 years of the Usos in WWE. Secondly, he congratulates on his first successful title defense. And he's right there whenever his friends need him, and that's a great quality for a human being, but a terrible quality for a champion. But he doesn't blame Jey. He doesn't know better, and being a champion doesn't come natural to him. He was able to be a champion for almost a year because is the only person he cares about, and he is fully honest. He doesn't think Uso has the talent to carry himself as a great champion. And in 2 weeks, when they step in the ring one more time, he's going to relieve him of his position, make things right, choke him out, and take the title back where it belongs around his waist. Uso asks if he's done because he's done with everyone saying his days as champ are numbered. He's done with everyone using the title as an excuse to turn their back on the people that brought them up. He's the real one, and he's got friends and family, and they fight for him, and he's for them. Gunther wants to run his mouth on his life and judge him. Go ahead, because when all is said and done, in 2 weeks he's retaining the title. So yeah, we're gonna get Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw in 2 weeks. So that's gonna be a banger. That's right after Money in the Bank, I believe. So we have to see what happens. Is Jay gonna get cashed in? Is someone gonna get cashed in? I'm interested to see how this is gonna play out.
I don't think that Jay is going to get cash in at Money in the Bank because, let's be honest, at Saturday Night Main Event, Cody Rhodes saved Jay Uso from getting a beatdown from John Cena, and Cody Rhodes said that he wants to have Jay Uso and himself versus Logan Paul and John Cena at Money in the Bank, and honestly, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Money in the Bank is Money in the Bank, man. I mean, you're gonna have one guy and one girl going on into the ring and coming out as the Money in the Bank winner, obviously. But for Jay to just have this random match with Cody and Cena at Money in the Bank, I think it just doesn't make any sense. Because Cody just came back from losing his title at WrestleMania, and honestly, Cody Rhodes, man, what what is the plan for Cody Rhodes now that he's lost his championship? Is he gonna challenge Cena next? It would make sense for Cody to challenge Cena next and lose, and it just doesn't make sense to me. Um, Cody has to figure out what he's gonna do with his direction. Um, the other point about Logan Paul, what is Logan Paul? Where is Logan Paul going to be? If Logan, I don't think Logan Paul is going to win Money in the Bank if he's going to be in this tag team match with John Cena. It just would not make sense whatsoever. So, and if Jey Uso loses his championship and Money in the Bank, and still has to face Gunther, a week or so after. Um, just I don't really see Jey Uso losing his championship between now and the next time Raw will be on. I don't see that happening.
All right, so moving on to the next match, we got a returning Liv Morgan. Welcome back, Liv Morgan versus Kairi Sane. So Kairi Sane's returning as well. She's been back. Kairi Sane, great to see Kairi Sane, despite her losing a triple threat last week versus Liv Morgan. So Kairi Sane versus Liv Morgan. Morgan in control early, a little bit of hair pulling, some kicks in the corner, a little back and forth. Sane up top, nobody home, rose through, drop down, slingshot. Dedress sends Liv into the ropes. Action on the floor. Morgan takes control. Three Amigos blocks. Kairi Sane hits a spear to follow it up. Kairi with a blockbuster cross leg Boston Crab, wrenching way back, but Liv grabs a handful of hair to force her to break. Kairi charges in, double boots, put her down. Diving codebreaker follows. Sane kicks out. Rising knees. Sane ducks. Cover for two. Roxanne Perez is here to run interference. She and Raquel Rodriguez argue, and Kairi Sane takes advantage of the distraction and counters Oblivion. Kairi Sane defeats Liv Morgan by pitfall with a schoolboy pin. So Roxanne Perez tries to help Liv Morgan, but that backfires. So it's not looking good, man. Roxanne Perez, she's definitely going to replace Liv Morgan. We have to see, like I said, this Judgment storyline, man. Oh, man. But thanks to the distraction or the failed interference by Roxanne Perez, Kairi Sane defeats Liv Morgan by pitfall. What are your thoughts?
That's interesting. I just think that Liv Morgan losing to Kairi Sane it's a good win, good pickup win for Kairi Sane because she just got back from a horrible injury. She was going through a lot of things. The damage control is now no longer, no more. There's no more damage control anymore. Asuka is gone. Asuka's still out. Io Sky is now a champion, and Dakota Kai is no more. She's no longer in WWE anymore, and that's it. That's the end of this. The damage control. They're no longer no more. Kyrie Sane is on her own. Uh, Here's the thing, though. Kyrie Sane is a short woman, just like Liv Morgan. She's shorter than Liv Morgan. She beat Liv Morgan, um, and I think that's good. That's good for Kyrie Sane. For Liv Morgan definitely needs. This is I could say that is her humbling moment because for her to lose to somebody that's the same as her, obviously she has to work on her wrestling. She's got to come back and prove herself to be still the same, or the same great wrestler that she is, and we know her to be. Um, she's she's always been a competitive wrestler. For Roxanne to come in and you know not help, she tried to help, but it backfired on her. Obviously, it feels like Liv Morgan putting karma back on her. I believe that's the right word, because it could be we could be seeing Liv Morgan leaving Judgment Day because Roxanne and what Roxanne is doing to help her win, but she's not really helping her win. She's sabotaging her matches. Um, it's just it is kind of interesting to see. Well, how is it? What's the next step with Judgment Day now, um, and going forward into the future? How are they going to evolve? This is sort of an evolution moment for the Judgment Day. What are they going to be like in the future?
All right, so moving on, we got Lyra Valkyria, excuse me, making her entrance. Lyra says she wishes she was here to tell us about a new contender to her title, but Becky Lynch did what she does, and once again, she talked herself into a rematch at Money in the Bank. She has nothing left to prove after beating her twice in every opponent she ever had. She doesn't care what they say or did. Once she beats them, she's the ultimate winner. But she didn't feel any satisfaction beating Becky at Backlash because her ego is still through the roof. No embarrassment or sense of shame at being beaten. And she sat on the turnbuckle and talked like she won the match, like a rat with a piece of cheese. Now it's personal, and at Money in the Bank, she's going to break Becky Lynch's ego even if she has to smash her head to do it. Becky Lynch makes her entrance. Becky says she was done with Lyra and she was on to bigger and better things. And sure, she won the match, but she won the fight. And Becky went home with her hot husband while Lyra went to the hospital with her weird fiance. Valkyria says Seth Rollins is the most talented thing about her. Lynch fires back that she's getting Lyra spoken about, but Valkyria points out they're talking because she beat her. Uh, Becky offers up the Becky offers the notion that if she loses, she'll never challenge for the title again, but if she wins, Lyra has to raise her hand in victory. Valkyria says she never had a problem raising someone's hand after she beat her. It's just that never been Becky yet. They have a stare down and that's that. So yeah, Becky Lynch versus Lyra, round three at Money in the Bank. This is Becky Lynch's last chance to win the title. So it's interesting to see. Will Becky win the title? I'm not even sure. It's gonna be close. But what are your thoughts on that Becky and Lyra segment?
I just can't see Becky Lynch. I just gotta say it. I can't see Becky Lynch winning the title this time around. This last time. This Becky Lynch's chances of winning the title is like the New York Knicks trying to go to the NBA Finals right now. Um, it's just it's not it's just really tough chances. Lyra Valkyria has beaten Becky Lynch twice, and Lyra obviously needs someone new challenging her for the championship. It can't always be you, Becky. You can't be the one challenging all the time for the championship. Lyra beats you cleanly twice in a row, and there's what else can you do? What else can you do? You showed up at Mania to be Lyra's partner, to beat Liv and Raquel, and now you're challenging Lyra for her championship when this could have happened at WrestleMania. I know I keep going back to it, and it just makes me upset. But here's the thing, though. I hope WWE doesn't keep pushing this storyline in my face, with Lyra and Becky, because we have a whole locker room of, of women back there who definitely want to challenge Lyra and work with Lyra in the ring to beat her to become the next Intercontinental Champion. Um, I would love to see this. This has got to be the end of a feud, an end of a feud. This feud has obviously had no contest whatsoever, but this has to be the end of this feud at Money in the Bank. It has at Money in the Bank.
All right, so moving on to the main event, we got another Money in the Bank qualifying match. On the men's side, we got Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, and Seth Rollins in a triple threat match. So Sami Zayn attacks Rollins out of the gate, sending him to the floor. Balor peels Sami away, chops in the ropes, whip across, duck a lateral, suicide dive, takes Seth out. Up the aisle, Finn rushes in and attacks, pulling Sami Zayn back down to the ring. Working him over, Rollins comes in. Balor with a double DDT on them both. Sami Zayn gets them set up and wipes them both out with a RBN press aside moonsault and points to the sky in memory of Sabu. Um, throwing throwing Seth back inside. Blue Thunder driver blocked. Reversed into a Falcon Arrow. So close. Chops in the corner. Rollins wants a pedigree, but Finn catches him with a sling blade. Shotgun dropkick sets Sami Zayn up. Balor up top, but Sami Zayn gets to his feet and cuts him off. Sami hits a superplex. Rollins hits a frog splash on him, and all three men are down and out as we action Fast and Furious, and both men end up down and out. Rollins wants a pedigree. Balor counters waistlock roll through underhooks, and this time the pedigree hits, but Sami Zayn peels Seth Rollins off for a roll up for two. Pedigree on Sami, no deal. Curve stomp, no deal. Blue Thunder drive blocked on the first try, but hits on the second, so close. Sami lines up for the hula kick. Finn Balor intercepts, shotgun drop kicks on both of them. Coup de grace, nobody home, curve stomp, hula kick. Sami goes for the win, but Braun Breaker pulls Sami Zayn off of the pin. He and Bronson Reed puts boost to Sami, but Jey Uso makes the save. Dominik Mysterio introduces a chair and tries to help Balor, but Seth Rollins capitalizes on instead. Seth Rollins with the curve stomp on the chair to Finn Balor, so curve stomp Finn Balor on the chair to get the win. Seth Rollins defeats Finn Balor and Sami Zayn by pinfall to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Post match, CM Punk's music hits. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed go up the aisle, but CM Punk comes for the crowd and hits "Go to Sleep" on Seth Rollins. Punk beats a hastily retreat out in the crowd, ending the show. So Seth Rollins is going to the Money in the Bank ladder match. So wow, Seth Rollins defeats Finn Balor and Sami Zayn by pinfall. What are your thoughts?
Seth Rollins qualifying for the Money in the Bank is probably the worst thing that you can ever happen. Do you think that can happen? Seth Rollins, if we can remember, Seth Rollins has cashed in his Money in the Bank and been successful at it, and he's cashed in his Money in the Bank on John on Brock Lesnar. He's cashed his Money in the Bank on Roman Reigns and won twice. Um, Seth Rollins, it would have made sense. I think it is a win for Seth Rollins in my book. I think Seth Rollins beat Finn Balor and Sami Zayn. Um, Seth Rollins could have challenged. Um, he can challenge anyone if he wins Money in the Bank, but he has to get through the other guys that are there who to qualify for it. I think the person most deserving of Money in the Bank is definitely Finn Balor because Finn Balor has not won a championship since he joined the Judgment Day. Never. He's never won a championship. He's only won tag team titles, but he's never won a singles championship. He got robbed of that chance by Damian Priest, obviously. And, Finn Balor definitely deserves a chance to win it. But because Judgment Day and Finn Balor didn't win, it shows just how um, man, it shows how unfortunate it is for him not to get the win, and he could be really good, and Balor could be really good. Seth Rollins got the win because he had help from Braun Breaker and um, Bronson Reed, but obviously, another person I could think of, Sami Zayn, could have his come into his own and win the chance to go to Money in the Bank, but that would put him at a disadvantage um, because Seth Rollins has the numbers, and CM Punk is there with Sami Zayn. So it's just kind of, I'm just trying to understand how is Seth Rollins going to win at Money in the Bank when he's got other things to worry about. He does have enemies that want to take him out, and there's just a lot there to be explored.
All right, so that will do it for Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys for watching. In terms of our grading, let's go to our grading of this show. It was an amazing show, so I'm gonna give it an A minus.
I'm gonna give it an A. Definitely there were some really good, cool spots, and can't complain. So definitely give it an A.
All right, so that would do it for Monday Night Raw broadcast. My name is Bruno Steele, this is Canadian Yorker. If you haven't done so, like, subscribe. Be sure to check out Canadian Yorker's YouTube channel as well as our WWE Wrestling Bros channel. That link will also be in the description of this video. And once again, I won't be making it for the next couple of broadcasts. If you haven't done so, the Friday Night Smackdown broadcast that I missed last week. Canadian Yorker has done it. It's on the WWE Wrestling Bros channel if you want to go check it out. He also did a recap of the WWE Saturday Night Live event that happened last Saturday. So be sure to check out that broadcast that Canadian Yorker did by himself. It's on the WWE Wrestling Bros channel. And that's what he will be doing the next couple of weeks because I will be out of town once again. I'm going to Argentina, so it's going to be fun. Wish me safe travels. If you guys want to see the broadcast, Canadian Yorker will be doing them on the WWE Wrestling Bros channel for the next couple of weeks. So, yeah, just a heads up. So, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, just gotta say safe travels to you on your trip to Argentina. Hope you enjoy it and get that R&R. The other thing I want to mention about the Wrestling Bros channel, um, yeah, we're gonna be doing the next couple of broadcasts talking about SmackDown and Raw. So be on the lookout for that. Also, I have a couple of other things coming out on the WWE Wrestling Bros channel. So also be on the lookout for that. Also regarding wrestling. So just keep an eye out for that.
All right, and just another note, Money in the Bank will be, I believe, June 6th or June 7th, I believe. So I won't be there for our usual pay-per-view Money in the Bank prediction video. So hopefully Canadian Yorker can do the Money in the Bank pay-per-view prediction video without me. That's also going to be in the WWE Wrestling Bros channel.
Oh, of course. I definitely will be able to do that. That's in a couple of weeks or so, right?
I believe June. I believe June 7th. So
Oh, wow.
probably have to do it
June.
during the week when I'm still out of town.
That is pretty close.
Yeah. So yeah. That would do it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Bruno Still, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks or so, or a week or whatever. But anyways, well, take it easy, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. See you guys later.
See you later.